and use data from these storage units like SQL, Cosmos DB, Blob. When it comes to processing capabilities involving the server or serverless, it is limited in Data Factory. So what we can do in Data Factory, we can do ETL operations, ETL transformations in Data Factory. That means you will pull data from a SQL DB, you transform it, you apply the transformations, you consider Data Factory for doing the same. So let me show you people how Data Factory actually looks like. So let me take you into my Azure Data Factory. So using Data Factory, here is my Data Factory. Let me show you my Data Factory and open up the Data Factory. So what we generally do with this Data Factory, for the data that we have in our data storages like SQL databases, blob storages, as well as our object storages and Cosmos DB, we'll pull them, we'll ingest the data into pipelines. We build pipelines into it. So various pipelines I have built. So what we do, we pull the data from a storage. What we do, we pull the data from a storage and we write data into another storage. So here we are trying to do data transformations. We are trying to do ETL extraction. We are trying to go and transform the data. We are trying to load and visualize the data for visual analysis. We consider data sets. We consider data flows for our transformations. So here comes up another challenge is that how would you go ahead and do analysis with regards to Data Factory? Data Factory has limited skill set into it. And that's where we will go ahead and utilize Azure Synapse. So same thing, what we do here is we bring the data from various data sources. We go ahead and apply transformation using data flows in Azure Synapse. And we'll go ahead and do data warehousing in Synapse using SQL. Okay, we go ahead and also perform our Spark programming. So we go ahead and consider a Spark programming involving Apache Spark here. So Azure Synapse is the new generation technology that is going to pull data from various data storage units, help you to do ETL transformations, just like your Data Factory. On top of it, you can build your data flows, you can build your data warehouse solutions. And as part of the data warehouse solutions, it offers multiple. It offers you serverless data warehouse solutions and dedicated pool service solutions, followed by Apache programming that you can do on top of it. So this is part of your Azure Synapse. So we are able to go ahead and consider the data flow. We are able to integrate with Azure Synapse Analytics, and we are able to do data warehousing. The data warehousing we will be considering to do the data warehousing, as well as building serverless solutions using serverless solutions, as well as dedicated pools with the dedicated pools. So with the dedicated pools under Apache Spark. So this is what are the modules that we'll do with Azure Synapse. So Synapse is something that will gonna help us to pull the data from sources, that is data integration. After the data integration, we do data warehousing using serverless and as well as server Apache Spark. And then it comes to how you go ahead and handle data engineering now with regards to Databricks. So Databricks is now the preferred choice for a lot of companies where you can expect data lake house platform capability. So there is a new word which is happening in the market, which is called data lake house platform. And Azure Databricks was the first company to drive this. So what Azure Databricks does do is Azure Databricks does go ahead and consider data lakes as a storage for all of your data for structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. And it will help you to go ahead and perform operations involving data flows. It will help you to go ahead and do data warehousing. It will help you to go ahead and do Apache Spark programming. You can do data engineering using this. We can go ahead and do machine learning involving machine learning libraries, and you can perform your SQL operations on top of it. So very advanced features are available under Azure Databricks. Data lakes is available because data lake is nothing but a central storage for all of your data that is coming from SQL databases to that of NoSQL databases. So let me show you how Synapse looks like and how Databricks looks like. So let me take you into Azure Synapse. So Azure Synapse is the company product, Microsoft product, which is a data lake house where you get what I mentioned. So you can get SQL data warehousing. You get Spark using Spark to run your Spark programming. You get your serverless solutions. You get, Spark clusters created. You can create your Spark clusters where you can run your operations. So let me open up my analytics and then I'll show you how Databricks does look like. Okay, now coming into Azure Synapse Analytics participants, as I mentioned, it is a central storage that works with your data lake. So you can find data that is coming from your data lakes. You can see data lake Gen 2 storage. And you get to see lake databases. On top of this, you can create your SQL databases that revolves around Apache Hive. So the primary storage is your data lake. On top of it, you can build your databases over data lake. So the databases that are built on top of your data lakes are called lake databases. You can develop scripts involving SQL, notebooks, data flows. You can build pipelines. You can see pipelines are built. And you can perform your operations and also integrate with BI solutions. So this part I haven't highlighted. So we can go and integrate with Power BI so that data can be visualized. Power BI. Am I good to all of you people? How Synapse is getting the things done? So Synapse will help you to go ahead and get the data from various sources. What are the sources as of now? For now, you go ahead and consider primary sources data lake. So data has to be brought from the main sources from data storage into data lake. And from data lake, we should be able to go ahead and build analytic solutions. On top of analytic solutions, we can use Azure Synapse for our data warehousing, for our, we can include data warehousing, and also we can run our Spark programming. But there is no capabilities of machine learning here. There are no machine learning capabilities that are available. ML capabilities is not available. This is a drawback of your Synapse. So this one has been rectified by Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks will provide to work with your data lake, which is a central component for all central storage for your structured data sets, for your unstructured data sets. It is a storage for all of those data sets, which will be utilized to undergo transformations using data flow. So we will use data flow for transformations. And we will use data lake involving data warehouse. So we will use for our SQL operations for whatever the SQL commands we have. And currently it is only supported over dedicated pools, only dedicated pools. We don't have serverless capabilities here. That means we have to use Apache's programming, which is 90% of the programming is done in Apache. Spark programming, which involves PySpark. We will use PySpark for our programming. We can do data engineering, machine learning, and SQL operations. So let me take you into my Azure Databricks component people. So Azure Databricks is very, very advanced version of data lakehouse platform. So let me take you to Azure Databricks.